The Women's Utilities Network is a platform that provides practical help and support to women in the utility sector through events, podcasts, mentoring, and opportunities to network. I am joined today by one of the co-founders of the Women's Utility Network, Hayley Monks. Hayley, I'm so glad to have you here. So my first question for you is, what made you and your co-founders want to start this organization?
Well, we were a bunch of relatively senior women who had had a degree of success in our careers. We hadn't experienced much difficulty, but we were very much aware of some of the challenges that women faced in the sector. And we were also had all experienced being the only woman, either in meetings or on boards, or in part of the companies that we worked in. And we understand the balance of diversity and the difference it can make in those rooms. So we felt that starting a network where women could come and connect, talk to each other, and encourage women to join and stay in the utilities sector could only be a good thing for the sector. So it was one of those ideas when you're at an event and you see the balance, and you think, I want to make a difference here, and I want to give something back, and we all felt the same. And so, and that's how the network was born.
Okay, so now what are the challenges that women have brought to your attention that they're maybe experiencing in the utility sector?
So it's such a big question that we could be here a long time answering that. But I'll pick out some of the really salient points, some of which we get anecdotally at our events that people will share, and some via our annual survey that we run, asking women how they feel and the challenges they have. So one of the key areas is around experiencing of bias. And I think this is a really interesting one to explore, and we are exploring that quite a lot, is because society and history creates the individuals that we are, both men and women, and as a result of that, we say things or we do things that we don't necessarily are conscious about.
Yeah.
So, I'm a believer that majority of people don't walk into a room to make life difficult for other people.
Yes.
No matter what gender or ethnicity they are. But actually part of their upbringing and their background means that, that they behave in that way. So unconscious bias and that what that means for them in their career is a huge thing. So not just assuming that when the woman walks in the room, she's bringing the tea or she's there to take notes, that she could be the expert, the leader, the person with the knowledge and skills in the room. So that's been a huge thing. On a personal level, imposter syndrome. And I know that's not a gender thing. A lot of people suffer from that, but women come to us for help with imposter syndrome. How do I develop confidence in my ability and how I do my day job? And we do that through our mentoring scheme. We support women through that. And probably the third biggest area is around that, finding people who do things like you do. So when you are the only one, you can feel quite isolated. Well, if we can connect women with other women doing similar jobs, but in different organizations, and they feel that they belong to that broader network, and they feel there's a connection, they've got somebody to go to and talk about things that they maybe haven't been able to talk about in their own organization. And that helps to bring that strength to keep women in the sector. Mm-hmm. But there's so many things that they come and bring and talk about. I help with the CV writing, help with interviewing, all of those kind of things. And anything really that they see as a challenge, we will try and find support and expertise to help them.
Okay, so now shifting the gears a bit, let's talk opportunities. So what opportunities do you see that are emerging for women as a result of the energy transition?
Again, this is huge, isn't it? I think my background started in energy, and I think if you look at energy 20 years ago, it was very much around supply, transmission, distribution. And so maybe not terribly exciting, although, I thought so at the time, but maybe not terribly exciting. Whereas now, you have so much around renewable products and development, around nuclear, around the technical side. I mean, we're going into finance now and ecology, where to build the right things, how to build the right things, the impact on the planet. So I think we can now attract a much broader range of people and capabilities to come and help in the sector. And particularly, I also think on the community side as well. And I know you had a session here earlier today on community and how we get communities involved. And I've seen a lot of women attracted to that because they want to give back to their community and they want to get involved in the future of our planet. So I think traditionally it was very narrow and very engineering led. But now the breadth is huge. And I speak to a lot of students that are coming out of university that are keen on playing their parts in the future of our planet, whether that be engineering, marketing, behavioral economics, financing, or ecology. So there's a whole range of roles, which is why what we do at the network is helping to promote that broad range and encourage people to come and join us.
That's great. So Hayley, you have 20 years of experience in the energy sector, and just as for your career, I just wanted to know, what career advice would you give to someone that is starting out? Like, what would you want to say to them?
I think, see, it's quite different because if I went back to my younger self, would I do things, you know, I've learned of experience, but are people in the same environmental context? Probably not. I would say about your resilience. I think you have to be fairly resilient to work in this sector, not just because the dynamics of gender, but the dynamics of the pace of what is going on. There's huge demands on the sector to save our planet. And therefore, you know, you've got to be really resilient. In terms of career, I would say have a plan. You know, look at what's around and where you want to be. And then look at where you are today and the gaps between it. How are you going to get from where you are today to 5 years or 10 years? What capabilities do you need? What skills do you need? And then make a plan to get those and find people who will help you. My experience is that everybody is rooting for you and everybody wants to help you. You just have to ask. So I might not be an expert in nuclear, but I know somebody who is. And therefore, you know, you can help people through those connections. But definitely have a plan. I found that those women who've come with a plan, a goal and ambition, they know where they're going, they are more likely to accelerate that when they're focused than those who are hoping that it might just work out. Yeah, be focused.
Hayley, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed that last answer. And thank you so much for watching. For more insights, go to enlit.world and join our community.